Hello, class, and welcome. I know we've been on a debt rampage this week, but you know me, I gotta throw in a little lesson every now and then, right, to keep things flowing. All right, so today's lesson, we're gonna go over credit building, rebuilding credit to get us to acquire our debt weapon, such as a unsecured line of credit, so that we can pay off debt at a rapid rate. Okay, because I know for quite a few people that filled out forms, you're wondering, okay, how exactly can I get a line of credit if my credit's no good, right? My credit score is bad. I've got certain credit cards in collections. Like, you're gonna have to sort of reboot, restart. Okay, so I am a little biased. Okay, I happen to love a company called Capital One. All right, I think they're an awesome bank and credit building company to be able to use to get us to that next level, so that we can start paying off our cars really fast, our mortgages, personal loans, student loans, all those things, right? So I'm gonna use an example, my girlfriend, of course, right? Because her example's perfect, right? Just like her. We have a scenario where so we're young, so we don't have credit, therefore you have bad credit. So her chances of getting an unsecured line of credit are very minimal. All right. Same thing with someone that is much older, never built credit, okay, or someone in between that never took care of their credit. Okay. So we're dealing with these people right now. If you're that person, doesn't have good credit, stay tuned. We're going to talk about how we build our credit up again. So Capital One offers a secured credit card, okay, where you can put money in, okay, and they'll give you either the same amount back, or they give you a little bit more, which is pretty cool. All right. On top of that, they have no annual fee. All right. A lot of secured credit cards have annual fees after the first year. Okay. Capital One does not. I believe Discover doesn't have one as well, and there's a few others, not very many, but a few. Okay. Another really cool thing that I like about Capital One that I don't think any other company does is after 5 months of having a secured credit card, they can give you back the money that you backed it up with, right? So they give you back your money, and then they give you a unsecured credit card, right? And they can even higher the credit limit amount, right? Or they might just keep you at the secured but increase it, okay, which is also really, really cool, right? So in this scenario, for my girlfriend, she backed up, she took $450, okay? Now, for people that have bad credit, low income, living paycheck to paycheck, how do you take money to secure a credit card? With what money are we using? Okay? So with this money, in your situation, we're using your expenses. Okay? So if you spend $100 on gas, $200 on food, and then $50 miscellaneous, right? So 100, 200, and then 50, right? So that's a total of $350 that we can use a credit card to pay our expenses. Does that make sense? So if you took $350 of your expenses, or in her case, $450 she uses for expenses that she can pay with credit, she took that money before the beginning of the next month, right? So going into a new month where you're going to have new expenses, right? She took that money that she's going to spend and she gave it to Capital One. So they hold it temporary period of time, right? And they gave her back $600. So they gave her a bit of a cushion, which is cool, right? Most other secure credit cards do not do that. If you give 3, they give you 3 back. If you give 4, they give you 4 back. Well, Capital One, they give you a little bit more, which is pretty cool. So she backed it up with 450, and they gave her 6, right? I think 6 or 650. I forgot. But now, what is she gonna do? She's gonna do velocity banking on her expenses, okay? Doesn't have any debt, okay? If you're someone that does have debt, cool. Keep paying the bill. Keep paying the minimum payments. Don't throw extra money at the debt. You're not doing anything when you do that. Okay, if you've got a debt of 10 grand and the monthly payment's $200 and you're gonna throw an extra $50, don't do that. Take those $50 of cash flow plus some expenses that we can use with credit, right? And dump it. Start building your credit so that you can get access to higher lines of credit so that we can rapidly pay off debt and avoid interest. Okay? So, we did that, secured it, we got that around this number. So each and every month she's spending $450. But what's interesting with credit cards, and this is where it gets a little fun or it can be a little tricky for some people, is even though she spends $450 within a 30-day period, when her statement comes out, it may not be $450. It could probably be less, right? And here's how. So let's say her bill is due on the 1st of every month, okay? Bill's due on the 1st of every month, right? Let's say her closing date is on the 5th of every month, okay? So you got due date and a closing date. These are very important dates to know with your credit card, all right? So let's say from October 1st to October, let's see, 15th, 20th, right? All in between that time period, right? She's gonna use the money, okay? Her next due date is gonna be November 1st, okay? So let's say she's spending money, right, over here. Spending money, spending money, spending money. November 1st comes, okay? What happens is as soon as we pass the 5th, the closing date, that means any money spent before the 5th will get calculated on November 1st on that bill, okay? So what's the first month that you get a credit card, it might not necessarily work like that right away simply because you just got the card. So they're gonna, what happens sometimes, it might be more than 30 days before you actually get your first bill, okay? After you get that first bill, you get that payment, and you pay it in full, okay? Then you start that process where it's like, okay, from the 1st to the 5th, whatever she spends, okay, that's what's gonna get calculated on the very next month, all right, on this month's bill. So if she only spent between the 1st and the 5th, right, or prior September, right, September's month, and then October 1st to the 5th, right, boom. Let's say let's say it was like $300 is what gets calculated on November 1st due date. That's the bill. Boom. Says here's your statement balance, $300. Your minimum payment might be like 25 bucks, 50 bucks, right? This is a smaller line, so it's most likely going to be like $25, okay? You never want to pay the minimum payment. You always want to pay it in full. Denzel, how do you pay it in full? Think about it. She put $450 in, right? The credit card company gave her $450. We'll give her more, $600, $650. She then uses $450 throughout the month, right, of October, throughout the whole entire month. What else is also happening throughout the whole month? She's getting paid. Boom, 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 right? She gets paid bi-weekly. So that money's going to sit in her checking account because she already paid her expenses with credit, and then the other expenses that she has will get paid with cash, right? But she'll have $450, right, left over. So when next month comes, what does she do? She dumps that $450. But what can happen sometimes throughout the month is that what she actually owes would be less than what she actually spent, which is pretty cool. Because now it's going to look like you got more money in your checking account. That does not mean you spend it, okay? That just means you store the cash. You start letting it build. Start letting your cash flow build, okay? So each and every month, we're doing that. She's using $450 of credit to run expenses for 5 to 6 months, right? And then she uses her income to pay herself right back, pays no interest. Her credit starts to build up. Capital One's going to be like, responsible. Okay. Let's give her a higher credit line. After the 5 months, she'll easily get $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, right? What else is going to happen is she's going to start getting offers in the mail, promotions, right? We actually got one in the mail where it said, hey, get a credit card with rewards and we'll give you $1,500. So she just acquired another credit card for $1,500 credit limit. Right? So now we've got $1,500 here and $650 there. That's over $2,000 already. And she's like 3 months in to building credit. And she's just going to keep doing this, right? She can use this for vacation, right? Where she puts money that she saved for vacation, she throws it on the credit card. When the vacation's over, what does she do? Pay herself back in 30 days. Bum. And she never loses her cash flow in the process, right? Her cash is either going to be sitting in checking accounts or it's going to be sitting in credit card accounts. All right? For most people, people think credit is debt that you have to pay back. Yeah, you do have to pay it back if you use it improperly. When you use it properly, credit can become your friend. You can create money out of thin air just like the banks do, right? So, she were to keep doing this for a year, 2 years, by the time she graduates college, goes into law school, she can acquire herself an unsecured line of credit, right? And keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. So when she does acquire student loan debt, she'll have a line of credit for maybe $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, right? And she'll be able to do velocity banking on whatever debts she accumulates and pay those things off within a year, 2 years, 3 years, as opposed to 10, 15, 20 years, right? So then those 10, 15, 20 years she can spend with me, not paying off debts her whole entire life, right? Sound good? And all because of this wonderful company, Capital One. Capital One, man. I love them. They're an innovative company. Let me tell you. you go into their banks, it's like a Starbucks in there. It's like a Panera Bread. It's open. You can have a nice meeting. You can have a private meeting. You can reserve a room. You can do a presentation, right? I'm manifesting something right now for me where I'm trying to, hopefully, through this channel and the volume that this picks up, and once I get into like doing like ads and stuff like that on the videos, I'm hoping to have control of that, where it's like I can run ads for Capital One because I love Capital One, right? So hopefully I can get a sponsor with the help of you guys and my loyal subscribers, my loyal, viewers that are watching so much of the content. Keep doing it. I love you. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, you're helping me get to the next level so that I can do what I love, which is just continue to teach very simple lessons that are simply not taught anywhere in any college, in any school for that matter. And if they are being taught, you're being misinformed, right? You're being informed to, get credit cards, right? And use 30% utilization, okay? Or use, or pay a little bit more than your monthly payment to build credit, okay? When the truth of the matter is that your credit score doesn't really mean anything if you don't use credit responsibly, right? And I've had a lot of conversations with adults where they're like, Denzel, my credit score is like 750 and I got denied a line of credit. And I'm like, yeah, because you had a $300,000 mortgage, you got $20,000 car note, 2 cars, you've got 40, 50 grand in student loans, you've got another 20,000 in personal loans, you've got all this credit card debt. Of course, but Denzel, I pay all my bills on time. Doesn't mean nothing. Promise you. Doesn't help you at all, because it all has to do with that debt to income and a little bit on the utilization and but when you strategically use credit to pay your expenses in chunks, right? Meaning if you use 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 on a credit card in 1 month and you pay it all right back in that same month, and you do that 9 to 12 months, think about it. You used 3 grand times 9, right? So you used $27,000 on a credit card that was maybe only a credit limit of maybe 4 or 5,000. Does that make sense? That's how you speed up, velocitize your credit, okay? And when you have an innovative company like Capital One, that you can get these secured line of credit cards and no annual fee, and they're very, very good customer service, hey, you get the things that you want to get to. So I hope that helps. My name is Denzel. Have a wonderful day.